Righty, y'all. Oh, let me make sure I hit the record. Mm, Wrong button. Mm, 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 mm. So, happy Tuesday, everyone. Welcome to the Freedom Tea Talks, of course, being streamed for the Greater Self Vibes podcast. If you guys have been hanging with me and chilling for a minute, then you know that we have been in the midst of. I'm going to try to keep leaning forward a wave and say hello to everyone as you come in on Instagram. We have been going through our process and our free boot camp for the Strong Friends. Is it the Strong Friends boot camp? I started to get all the names mixed up because bigger picture, we've been talking about lots of different things to start recognizing and noticing. Hello on IG, naturally Nay. Noticing my observation is how different types or avatars for friends can actually help you identify how you show up and function in the world and then what that looks like in different significant relationships that you have. We are done with 3 of the 4 days so far for the boot camp. Just update, quick housekeeping. And tomorrow will actually be the last day of the boot camp. And I've got some special things to be sharing there. So if you missed the other days, you can totally still sign up and get access to them now. Oh, I want to make sure I put my ring back on for today, showing off these lovely crystals that an amazing friend of mine has made. I'll definitely tag on Instagram later. Just, admire the crystals, the love that's coming through for them. With that being said, today I figured why not throw in a bonus live for one. And if you notice, we've been doing it at different times, trying to catch different folks on different times on a Tuesday still, so that you too have the opportunity to participate. Today, our topic is on, what is it, best friend or best barrier? And I would say best and or barrier because there is this reality of some folks will do the most, go hard and do everything in the world for their best friend. And the thing is, usually that person that you would call your best friend, I'm not saying that they aren't a good friend and that they aren't your best friend, but I absolutely want to invite you to the opportunity or possibilities of why wouldn't you be your own best friend? Why wouldn't we start there and look at how you are treating and caring for yourself? Are you taking on any of those friend types, strong friend, the peaceful friend, or we transition to do nothing friend to the mystery friend? Are you taking on any of those roles? Or are you able to actually move and function in a space of being more like your goddess friend to yourself, recognizing at different points in times, different versions of you are needed for what it is you need to accomplish? If you have or have not been able to do that for yourself, the real question kind of boils down to who is your real best friend then? Is it that person that's outside of your physical existence, or should it be you and that other human being, best friend, go best friend, business besties, all the same? Should they also get a place clearly in your life, in your heart? But how are you showing up for them as a friend? And the best place to look at is how are you showing up for yourself? If you were your own friend, how do you take care of yourself? What does your self-care look like? Do you pep talk yourself up? Do you give yourself time to vent? Do you give yourself time to explore different ways or means of doing things? Or are you your own biggest barrier and or that actual physical best friend? Now, I say that and I expect a little bit of smoke. Let me just tell you right now, I got time today, tomorrow, and all the other days to look at it. But a best friend, whether it's you or your actual best friend, believe it or not, can potentially be a barrier towards you being the greatest and best version of yourself that's able to really function in that state of being a goddess friend and kind of floating back and forth to give or do the most and advocate, to step in the background and, be supportive to other people, to blatantly not be available or need help and support and be willing to speak on it. what I've noticed and had the opportunity to just kind of quick check in for myself and notice when I find myself and I look at all my other friends and just notice when we talk about different things, this is friends, these are clients, these are random people that feel comfortable to talk to me because apparently I'm inviting and easy to speak to. It could be because I'm a therapist, it could just be because it's me. But what I notice is that people will absolutely do the most for their best friends. They will do the most for someone else that's not them. So that can even look like your kids. It can look like your spouse. It can look like any significant friends, or maybe even your job ends up getting best friend status based on how people go hard in the paint. And you find yourself acting as that strong friend for insert whomever the best friend is, but it rarely, rarely ever is ourselves. We rarely ever go that hard in the paint for us. We will totally support someone else's mission or cause before we give to us. Oh, cool. You just signed up. Word. Binge all the videos before. Check out the lives that happened before that. That should be accessible. And if not, then we'll just need to go ahead and make sure we update things because it's real humans over here working on my team and behind this business. So things happen. Things do get missed. It's amazing how that, this whole humanness. But back to being this best friend and the best friend being a barrier, you can be the barrier to yourself. And the barrier to yourself, and that I will use my example, so I don't put nobody else's business out there. And if you feel like you're the person that I did this for, please understand if you feel that way, so does somebody else. So feel free not to feel called out. I recall myself at various different points in times, hey, over on IG, where I have been in a position or a place or been doing stuff and realistically been at work, at a job as an employee and recognized how inefficient I might be as an employee at times when I'm in my strong friend energy because someone else could call me or my best friend or my family or my kids or whoever my significant other was, and I would feel absolutely no problem with saying, F this job, I'm out. I'm going to go take care of or help this person. Now, here's the part where you can be your own barrier in that space as your own enemy and not being the best strong friend to yourself. At no point did I ever mention, despite all the stuff I know, did I take a moment to take a breath or even find out, is this that deep anyways? Do I actually even need to go? Or is this something that maybe I needed to qualify the conversation and find out, do you even need or want my help? Is this something that you even need support with? Or did I just so desperately not want to do whatever I was doing that I was willing to forsake all of it, throw it away, just throw the whole job away in the trash can to go show up for a friend because that's my best friend, or that's my kid, or that's my partner, or fill in whatever blank you want to fill in that took that best friend role. I was so willing to go risk it all to show up for them that I was absolutely putting myself in a position where I was going to be harmed. It was going to be to my detriment to keep showing up for these other people that didn't, maybe didn't even have the capacity to show up for me in that way, didn't ask me to do that. And while I'm doing the most and trying to show up for them, I'm simultaneously I'm helping them get stronger and literally snatching my own bricks away to build my own foundation by putting them on somebody else's, snatching more away from me, building it for someone else's. So this is where you end up being your own barrier to being your own best friend. When you're willing to do more for other people than for yourself, that strong friend energy you feel like you have to, guess what? Every single one of those times that I actually did that and didn't take a break and didn't give myself permission to breathe into is, do I have to do it? Or can someone else, or does anything even need to be done? I impacted the relationships that I had with the other people that, who was the best friend. I impacted people that were, you know how like, if you're a solid person, you can call somebody and if you ask for a favor, they got you off top on site because they know that that's what you would do and how you would show up. I've exhausted those resources. I've exhausted my day ones, my hundreds for other people that were in that moment, the best friend. And like I said, friends, family, job, like whatever it is, because I didn't do what I would have asked someone else to do, which is take a moment. Do you need me to do something, or do you need me to just listen? I didn't qualify the conversation. I didn't qualify the interaction. I just started moving and doing stuff and doing it from out of a space of franticness. To be fair, like literally over this past weekend, I was about to make some choices and decisions that, all BS aside, 20 years ago, I could have did it. I would have been fine. I would not have been fine if I'd have followed through with those choices because I thought I had to resolve a problem that the person involved ended up saying, I don't even want that as a solution or resolution. I just called for you to listen and try to help me. And then I reached out to 2 to 3 other people. Lightweight probably pissed them off because of what I was considering doing and asking for their support to do it, all because I was being a barrier to being my own best friend first. That would have allowed me to show up, whether it was the strong friend energy or just a better migration of how I showed up as a goddess friend, to be able to take a couple of breaths, chill that person down, calm myself down, and then look at, wait a minute, all of this don't even make sense. There's no way for this problem to need the resolution that I was trying to go to. Oh, let me try to get closer on IG. I'll start wearing my glasses, but not today. Not today. So I'm gonna say hi to the other folks that have jumped in. So that would be Claudine. I see Dashe, and I definitely thank y'all for the shirt. And then preaching to the choir, I hear you. Like, right? Like, why do we do this? Or having a limited mindset of how I can support. Right? Like, who does this and keeps doing it? Also, thinking maybe someone dislikes their job so they are in the direction. Wait, so their job dislikes their job so much that a distraction is welcome. Well, that's facts. Like, I don't like having to be nowhere for nobody at no particular time. So that's always going to be somebody needs something great. That means I don't got to be at work. Mind you, I am also my own boss. So imagine how that goes down. Hence, back to the being a barrier to my own self. I don't even want to work for myself some days. I'm like, my boss is, oh, she is a problem. If that's how I can feel about myself, at what point am I being my own best friend? At what point am I actually showing up and giving my own self that goddess energy to be comfortable with today is not the day I'm not interested, and that's okay. But it doesn't mean I got to go do the most to show up for everybody else either. It doesn't mean you still schedule 50 million people to try to hit a dollar amount because that's supposed to save you or support you. If the mindset behind it and the mentality behind your actions is putting you in a position where you can't even be your own best friend because you're making choices that don't help you, why in the world would you then try to show up and be somebody else's when you weren't in a good space to take care of you? When you didn't give yourself that time and permission to really explore, what do I have available to me now? If I do this action, what am I going to lose? Because you will be giving up your time. You've already given up some energy towards it. And is it going to even, did the person even ask for this help? And if they didn't ask for it, who are you trying to do this for? Who are you proving this point for? Who are you trying to be the superwoman that comes in and saves people that didn't ask to be saved? I just wanted to put this out here, share this little bit of nugget, like nothing, not too much, but just enough. Because, like I said, we've already done 3 days of the Strong Friends Boot Camp. We have one more, I think it's tomorrow. Probably. I look on my planner. I try not to memorize anything if I can help it anymore. I'm pretty sure it's tomorrow at 11 o'clock, where we're actually culminating what the process of going through and being able to get to a place of not doing this on a regular basis, because it clearly doesn't work. Like, if it worked, I wouldn't even be talking about it. I wouldn't have this much fire or angst about it. To be fair, my clients that come see me for therapy wouldn't probably need to see me if they didn't function in those types of roles. The people that I have coached with historically, they wouldn't have been there if they didn't also show up in those types of roles. And the bigger overarching, like, foundational good thing about it is it does come from a good place. The desire to help and be helpful to other people and be a part of someone else's support. I don't know of too many more things that could be more genuine than that. However, there's definitely a better, smarter way to do it that does not cause you to be exhausted. It doesn't cause you to be in a position where you can't handle your own business no more. It really can be significantly more effortless when we take a couple of breaths. To be fair, every time you take a deep breath in and out, technically you just did yoga. So throw a little yoga on it and then get the oxygen flowing back to your brain. What am I doing? Am I being a best friend to myself first? And then if you're putting yourself in a best friend position for someone else, is it working? Did they ask for it? Did you even ask them? We can save ourselves, the people we love, the relationships that are super important so much if we just took a couple of breaths before we made choices and decisions and actually structured and scheduled our lives in a way where, let's say someone does call out of the blue and is like, hey, I need you to come through and like do this thing for me. Well, like I said, I don't memorize stuff. I'm gonna pick up my planner first and look at, what do I have to do? And then I'm going to assess, are any of these things things that I am willing to not do, that I am willing to be out of integrity with to come do this request that someone else asked? Now, to be fair, life or death things are not things that you need to negotiate or wonder about. But if nobody's going to die in the next 24 hours because of whatever you do or don't do in the next 30 minutes, you probably got a little bit of time to think about it and explore how you can show up for support and if you have the capacity to. And it might not mean physically, it might not mean monetarily, it may not even be that you're available to talk to them. Maybe the way you show up is by, and I hate to say it, people do it to me sometimes, by ignoring them. Because what they're saying is, I won't say it's crazy, but it just don't make no sense. And the more time you have to look at, what do I have available and what are they asking me for? It gets easier to start to make these types of decisions. You don't have to be the strong friend for everybody. You don't have to be the peaceful one in the background that's out here doing the most with zero recognition. And you don't have to jump into that space of being a mystery friend that's either showing up and showing out or ghosting everybody. You can be your own goddess feminine version of you and do so in a way that allows you to be your own best friend first, to take care of you first, and then everybody else gets the overflow. And like I said, minus life or death situations, there's always something that can be worked out. I'm sure people have missed a late payment here or there in their lives before, and guess what? You probably could just pay it later. I'm not suggesting that people just go out here making late payments on things, but there's usually a solution. And if you ask the right questions, you can get there in a way that works better. If you take a moment to check out, well, who is this supporting, what, when, where, and how, and did anybody even ask for it? Can you imagine how much easier it gets to be when you get to be in your own goddess feminine flow because you're not doing too much? You're not out here trying to do the most for other people to prove a point or prove something to yourself. Your value isn't in how many Hail Mary passes you can complete for other people's lives. It's in how many times you could show up and be the person to support them to maybe completing their own Hail Mary, or for that matter, creating a life where they don't even need one. It's like clockwork, it's routine. They know what to do, they know how to do it, and you held the space to support them. Hence, yourself first. How do you help yourself first? Be your own best friend, assess your own needs, and then ask for the help you need from the people available and be okay with the folks that can't because they needed to take care of themselves first too. Well, now that we got all that out the way, like since y'all are still here riding with me, I'd be more than happy to hear anybody's observations or maybe even how you recognize in this moment, like, dang, I was out here doing the whole entire most for everybody else but me. I was absolutely probably supposed to leave that job way sooner because clearly, if I was looking for any reason to leave, I didn't maybe need to still be there. Um, and this might happen more often than not. I'll take the smoke, but a lot of moms have historically jumped in and done too much because they thought they needed to, which might have stifled your babies being able to grow and take care of themselves. Grandmothers, even the same. And it comes from a good place, but I'm just saying, check and see, does that person really need it? Or is this an opportunity, especially if they're already an adult, for them to start shifting and making changes? If you also notice there's a pattern, or you step back and look at, did I ever do this myself? And if you remember that you did, acknowledge it. Maybe just knowing that might have been the help that the person was looking for, but be okay with, you don't have to fix and solve everything. You can hold space. You can make sure they're good, make sure they're not in a position where they can't eat, have somewhere to stay, but maybe all the extras aren't necessary. So if you do it because you wanted to, because you have the time, space, and energy. Don't blame it on nobody else, like they caused you to do that, or it's your fault, that it's their fault that you're in the situation. It's your fault because you did it. You grown. Essie on Instagram said, amen to all of this. LO, I have crazy times with jobs and I feel the situation is more deeper than my brain. I mean, real facts, I don't like being cold. I don't do well when I'm cold. I think I might even be allergic to it. That's a whole nother topic. However, if there's something I'm doing, and I remember being in the field and when I was in the army and we would be outside in the cold, if there were, it doesn't matter what they said to do. If there was a way to go be warmer, I was going to do it. I don't care. Oh, I gotta go clean the toilet, whatever. That means I'm be inside warm, cleaning the toilet. Uh, it just doesn't matter. But my desire to not be cold is so strong that I'm not gonna be my own best friend if I'm too cold. I'm gonna make bad choices hands down every single time because I don't want to be cold. If you find yourself having too many of these situations happening, maybe it's time to evaluate. Maybe you need to be somewhere where where you're not going to be cold. That's why I live in California now. On IG, it says when it comes to friends, it's the rebuttals after ending a relationship because they feel they're entitled to you and your space in any capacity. Ooh. I am not gonna start that conversation, but I can tell you it might happen next week. It might be part of next week's episode to talk about what does it look like to drop or lose or get ghosted or end a friendship. Because I know people talk about relationships and they're intimate and like how that feels and like your heart. It's like, oh gosh, but what about a more intimate relationship where it didn't involve sex ever at all? So um, and also cold will for sure make me forget a lot. Exactly. So I think we might have our topic next week, guys. I think we might be jumping back more into friends in February being Black History Month and like the month of love and like all the things. We might be digging into what do some of these different types of loves look like and what can those hurts and pains look like. Again, I'm about to get out of here because I can see I'm getting close to time to where I do need to go. If you all have not joined the Strong Friends Bootcamp, by all means, still sign up. You can definitely find the link anywhere associated with me. If you see me, then you can find it. Sign up, catch the replays. Um, don't miss tomorrow if you can help it. Definitely see the replays as I am peeling out and just sharing the adaptation of some processes that I've used historically to help people move from one point to the next in other relationships and capacities. And being able to do that on purpose and integrating your feminine energy and becoming like that goddess friend, best friend to yourself that really puts you in a position to show up, show out, not be burnt out. And you're doing what you need to for others because you actually have the capacity to. You can create the business, you can spend the time with the family, friends, or help the people you already help, but you can do it on purpose because you know what way works best for you, that you don't have to laugh as hard at the memes that be showing that you might have seen in my stories where you see people having the meltdowns and then they're back again. It doesn't have to keep being as real. You can remember it and still choose to separate, part ways with it, let it be a part of your past. So thank y'all for showing up, spending time with me for this moment. And I'll be sure to catch y'all next Tuesday on our Tea Talks. And like I said, for those lucky folks that are showing up tomorrow afternoon for the last day of the Strong Friends Boot Camp, Do show up. I absolutely am offering something afterwards, so don't even wonder. Yep, I sure am. I'm giving you all this free solid stuff, and I'm going to see who wants to do something next with it. Um, so do show up. I look forward to seeing y'all. I thank y'all for spending your time. Feel free to tell a friend, and y'all have a great rest of your day. Bye.